Welcome back to Stuff at CKCO. More opinions on game systems coming up.
But first, we check in with 3 local guys who are involved in the electronic music scene. Not only are they heard in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, but through their label, they're heard across the world. Joining us now is Stuff's Dan Lochner. Dan, so you're the vid man.
That's right. I follow the party scene in the Waterloo region and tell you who's coming and going on my website. One cool label I'm following is produced right here along the 401. It's Saturday night at the Purple Room in Waterloo, where the vinyl spins till 3 a.m. You're listening to the booming bass beat of house music. It's loud, it's relentless. Behind the turntables, MattLok of 401 Recordings, the DJ who's been leading this crowd for 3 years now. His partner, Andrew Greville, is looking on, seeing how the dancers groove to their new tunes. So what does it take for a DJ to keep the dance floor packed with hot music?
It's the vibe, and the vibe is created from the passion for the music that they have. And you can see it when they're playing, and you look at them and you can see the spark. And I call it the spark because you can tell they look at it and they know what they're going to play next. They can already hear it in their head, and it's going to sound amazing, and it's going to move the floor.
And Matt says people react to the passion.
We don't just slap on one record after another. We take our 3 decks and try to work it, by trying to come up with live remixing and blending to give it that really unique flavor.
Trevor Kiernander is part of the scene. Each write their own tracks, but hang together, share ideas, and compare what moves them.
Influence-wise, it goes way back to New Order, Depeche Mode, a lot of the 80s synth kind of bands.
Their introduction to music came early.
Doing some school dances. I had actually two turntables, just Yorks from Canadian Tire, which I'd cross-wired around my room so I could actually play.
And soon, turntables just weren't enough.
The studio is down here in my basement. My parents, when I first started doing the DJing thing, they didn't mind it. After high school was done, then they started to hate it because they're afraid that I'd become some sort of DJ junkie. They eventually realized that, that the music thing is something that I just truly love. This is the $1 Million Sound.
The home studio is loud, but Matt's family puts up with it, and
they just recently discovered I have a record label just about a month or 2 ago. They're not really knowing what was going on. I got in trouble from my dad about 3 months ago. He was asking me, why do I have so many, why would I buy 100 copies of the same records, not knowing that these are records I'm actually selling.
Getting started wasn't very legal.
I actually did a bootleg record, which I hope no one else hears about this, of Bushes and Disco Train, just as an experimental thing to get my feet into the water.
And staying out of debt removes a lot of pressure.
If we wanted to stop, we don't want to have ties to a loan.
One big obstacle to being heard is that compact discs sell. Vinyl doesn't.
Time Warner, who are trying to eliminate vinyl and anything analog for that sake, it's a big threat for DJs and everyone in this sort of subculture that we're in.
So to get heard in the club scene, the trio turned to a company known as Stickman, who represent small artists and distribute their tracks around the world.
There is a niche market for our type of sound and the general electronic music sound. And we rely on the smaller record stores around the world, different areas like Japan and France and Italy and across North America and in the UK.
Stickman has got a very good DJ mailing list that goes out to a lot of majority of the DJs who actually receives our promos first. People like Josh Winks, DJ Dan, Scene Flash, Seb Fontaine, Pete Tong. The list goes on, it goes across the world.
So whether you're in Tokyo or the Tri-Cities, you'll be hearing music by 401. For Trevor, it's just part of life.
I've always just loved the music, but at the same time I've also been into art. I went to Sheridan for illustration. Doing the DJing on the side, it's just a lifelong passion that I've had for the both of them. And just right now, this is what's accessible.
Andrew says he's just doing what comes naturally.
It's almost like an addiction, like it's something that is part of you. Everybody tells you got to do something that you love. So I decided to go for it and actually challenge myself and try and do it on a more serious, professional level.
As for Matt, we love you, MattLok! This DJ loves being part of and promoting the entire music scene.
Whether it's local here for Kitchener-Waterloo or Toronto or Montreal, you know, like we're all Canadian and we're trying to set an example to people outside of Canada to say, hey, you know, Canada's got its own sound. We're not, you know, British sounding, we're not a US sounding, you know, we are a Canadian sounding label that, you know, is striving for good recognition and for exposing good talent that we have here locally and all across Canada.
Wow, that was some pretty crazy stuff. How can we find out more about their music?
At their website, 401recordings.com.
And I hear you have a pretty wicked website yourself. Tell us about it.
It's got local event listings, party pics, DJ sets, and everything you need to plan your weekend. And that's at vidman.ca.
Thanks, Dan.